This is Nova with Beer and Cigarettes Radio. You're on with Sean, my co-host,
Yep.
and Blaine.
Hell yeah.
Tonight we're live for the first time ever.
Woo!
Woo! We got our beers.
Yep, indeed.
Let's get shock top. Tonight's subject, of course, or
I can
subjects for
step
that
out for
matter.
1 second. I'll return.
All right. Tonight's subjects are The Dark Knight Rises for the first hour, following some news, and the Apocalypse Minute with Blaine and Sean. And for the second hour, we'll be talking about shadow people and digital possession with our special guest, Timothy Bowen. So, Blaine, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Not too bad. So,
Just opened our beers here, and we're ready to rock and roll.
well, if you guys remember the countdown podcast that we did over the last couple months, or the last month or so, we talked about Solar Cycle 24 and about how we had so many different solar flares coming out of the sun, about 38 or so. We actually,
I
as
seem
of
to
the
remember that number.
we actually had an unprecedented solar flare in the form that it was faster than any recorded before now. I don't have much on the story, but I'll post up a companion link later on this week so you guys can check that out and see what it's all about. That actually happened on the 24th. Blaine, did you get any weird disturbance or electrical interference on the 24th?
Well, within the past couple days, I've noticed there's been quite a bit of interference at EMI simply on my phone and any other communications I've had. But other than that, nothing big.
Nothing big. Well, you know, I'm actually pretty surprised that the power grid hasn't just shut down because of how many times we've actually been hit by solar flares. But
Well, this is true. Most of the power grid is now shielded from that kind of extraterrestrial EMI.
so, do you think that most of the unrest and the concern behind solar flares hitting the planet and knocking out the power grid and everything is mostly just doomsaying?
I agree. I think it's completely unwarranted, honestly.
Well, the average person isn't going to have an electromagnetic pulse protector or anything on their computer, so it's possible that they would be affected. But
Well, this is true. Most computers are also shielded from the factory in one way or another.
indeed, whenever Sean gets back, we can
I'm
start
back.
our review of The Dark Knight
I'm
Rises.
back.
All right, Sean, do you want to lead us off?
Um, I'll let you do it. You're the biggest Bat fan here, so.
That is true. Um, I really wanted to go out and see The Dark Knight Rises again before I come on here and start spouting what I think. And, I want to get my nitpicks out of the way, my fanboy nitpicks out of the way. First of all, the story takes place 8 years after The Dark Knight, and that point just it still doesn't sit right with me. I tried to accept it before the movie came out, and I pretty much did because it's sort of a Dark Knight Returns type deal.
Right.
And if you recall, in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, Batman has actually not been Batman for 10 years since the death of Jason Todd. So
Well,
it's not like it hasn't happened before. It's just I don't know. As a fan, I don't like the idea that Batman would quit being Batman just because Harvey Dent and Rachel Dawes died. It
well, well, the death of a loved one like
Well,
Rachel would definitely have a deep psychological impact on someone.
plus, they even said that there are no criminals in Gotham City anymore thanks to the Dent Act. They didn't need Batman at the time.
They were no longer at war.
Yeah.
true, but that's also from a storytelling standpoint and the story they decided to tell. I mean, I disagree with Chris Nolan in the idea that that's the only route they could have gone down. I just feel like there could have been more of the Batman mythos in this universe before the end, you know?
I guess. I wasn't really bothered too much by that. Well, I have food in my mouth.
Wash it down with some beer.
Yeah. I wasn't
Well-
bothered too much by that. What really bothered me the most in the movie is the fact that Batman's the most boring character in it.
This is altogether too true.
Like, he's Batman for maybe like what 30 minutes of the entire movie, and when
Yeah.
he is, it's just kind of a morose. He never felt like a hero. In a movie called The Dark Knight Rises, I'm kind of against that idea.
Yeah, I mean, he's mostly Bruce Wayne, and while the segments where he is Bruce Wayne are pretty great, it drives the film. I do feel like
Bruce
he should have been
Wayne's a good
Batman more
Oh,
often.
Bruce Wayne was a
Bruce
great
Wayne was
character.
great. It's the fact that as Batman, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was different in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, I feel.
It was absolutely different in the last two.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really get why they chose to have less Batman time. Maybe Christian's just getting too old. Like,
Well,
maybe he
that's
can't
part of the
handle
story of the
the
movie.
physicality.
Well, that's the thing. Like, my trouble isn't that there's not that much Batman. Like, they could have done. It's the fact that the whole movie arc just seems like a downward spiral. You know what I mean? He never becomes the hero in the end. In a movie, again, in a movie called The Dark Knight Rises, you would expect him to become more of a. I mean, I guess he became
Simply
a hero.
stated, he should have became more of a badass, you know?
Yeah, he should have
In
been
a
more.
sense, yeah.
The trouble
That's
is-
another thing too.
Throughout the
Um,
whole movie, you knew he wanted to quit because he talked about it, saying, Batman's not a person; it's just a man behind a mask. I forget.
Or
I
Batman
can't-
can be anyone.
Yeah, that's it.
As
Batman
he's
can be
talking
anyone.
to John Blake.
Right. And so you immediately get the fit that he doesn't want to do it anymore. Everyone knew this was the last one, and pretty much everyone had the guess of he's not going to be Batman by the end of it. But
Or he was going to die.
he didn't die.
Well,
Yeah,
according
I
to some
never
angry
expected
IMDb'ers, that
Oh, yeah.
the
I
final
understand.
sequence of the film is all just a dream. It's all Inception.
Fuck that, dude. Batman's alive.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd do that to Alfred. As weird as that sounds.
You don't think they do that to
Yeah, but
Alfred?
he thinks he's dead.
True. But to me, Bruce Wayne being alive makes more sense as a story standpoint. As weird as that sounds, it's like just leaving and not giving a shit and getting away from everything. Because now it's like in the end, he finally understood who he was. You know, with the boring ass pit sequences. Look, those sucked. I didn't care a single second about that entire sequence.
Well, it's kind of funny, and this has been brought up before, but the way that Bruce's quote-unquote back was broken, end quote, just it didn't seem to make sense at first.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you fix someone's back, even if it's just a spinal disc protrusion? How do you fix someone's back by punching it?
You knock the disc back in place and hope for the best.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Luckily,
I'm not
it's a
saying
comic.
I'm not saying that this is my opinion personally, but this is what I've read online. This is a big issue with people, and I mean, people need to understand that it's not that his back was broken per se, like it was in the Nightfall storyline in the '90s. You know, it's that he was just injured or that it was really messed up. But even a spinal disc protrusion wouldn't. Someone else brought this up, and it's a good point. Wouldn't that still break the spinal cord or rupture some fluid?
It depends on how far the protrusion
Yeah, that's it.
is. Really.
It actually happened to my aunt in real life, and she still walks just fine. So
Well,
it depends on how bad it is.
there's
The
a
problem
point
is
for
they
realism.
played up the injury for an injury that wasn't that bad to dramatic effect, and Herger's going to climb the wall 4 fucking times, but we all know he's going to do it eventually.
Yep.
And that's another thing. This is a character that has been jumping over rooftops
Yeah,
and trained by
And
Ra's
it's
al
just
Ghul.
9-foot gap.
that whole fucking part of the movie was so stupid.
Yeah.
You need
Just-
to leave. You don't
Uh.
have spirit.
Hey, we're live, jackass.
Yeah, I know. That's an alarm.
Oh, all right. Nonetheless, we're live, jackass.
My bad. My bad.
God damn.
You know, and there are a couple other issues I had with the film, like at the point where he leads the cops straight to Bane, where Bane is holed up in front of City Hall, I believe, and they just go in. You know, they go in as like like a marching line from the 1700s, like
They
the
weren't
British
a
Army.
march. They were just a group in a street. They were all in the street, and that's how the group ended up forming. They weren't in lines.
Well,
That's how a group of people naturally would move like that if they were like in a march towards an enemy.
Well, I'm thinking, Batman, who's supposed to be a pretty strategic-oriented character, could have had them come in from the sides of the street or something. I thought it was good that he created a smoke screen for him, but I don't know. That's
not the
point.
the problem. That's not the point. Batman wasn't being a hero. He's making the city work to save itself. He was just kind of guiding them along. He wasn't actually being a hero. That's my problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only heroic thing he really did was get rid of the bomb.
And by the way, these are sort of spoilers, so just so you're
The
forewarned.
movie's been out for 3 weeks. They haven't seen it. It's their own fault.
Well, there is the whole money issue.
There's the internet. Seriously, I saw it for $5 yesterday in a theater.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry if you haven't seen it yet, but it's been 3 weeks. You know what the show's about. You make your choice.
Well, overall, what do you think?
I give it a B- on a grading scale like that.
I will say I thought it was head and shoulders better than the Avengers.
Well, I
can't compare the two. They're two different movies to me.
No, I
mean,
agree,
one's meant to be more of a popcorn flick, and then the other is more about social unrest.
Yeah.
But
Very
I
true.
mean,
That was my other issue with the movie. It was obviously very much a play on the whole Occupy movement.
yeah, I agree.
I
mean,
the movie had finally come out.
You can't deny it.
Both of us have stopped giving a shit about the Occupy movement.
Mm.
So to me, a lot of the politics were kind of haphazardly handled, especially as much as I love her, Catwoman's speech when she's dancing with Bruce about, there's a storm coming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was a great line. She did a really good job.
Terrible line. Like, it was just such a typical the movies about politics line.
Yeah. I honestly think they should have chosen some
for her character.
You shut your whore mouth.
Oh,
Anne Hathaway was great as Catwoman.
gorgeous as
I'll
all
be
hell.
the first to admit that. I think her character could have been developed a little better, but what she had to work with, fantastic. Like,
pretty much every that movie could have been developed a little better. Because the movie had 30 fucking main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly hoped for a batshit crazy Selena Kyle.
Selena Kyle wasn't batshit crazy, though. She was a seductress.
She's never been batshit crazy in the comics. Well, I mean, depending on what era.
Well, she's not Harley Quinn, though. That's the thing. What I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
Batman from the 90s, kind of.
Even then, she wasn't that crazy.
In the movies.
Okay, well, you see, those movies are bad movies. Mostly.
I know they're bad movies.
Yeah. Blaine's being old again.
Yeah.
Listen,
Referencing
kids.
Burton Schumacher films. Well, I think the best thing about this film is that this series is come to a close, and we can get past the realism that Nolan has introduced. Like, he wouldn't touch villains like Mr. Freeze or say or Hugo Strange, the Monster Men arc, which was fantastic. It was a graphic novel series that they released.
I like that.
And I for one would have loved to see a realistic Mr. Freeze.
I just always wanted Harley Quinn.
I can agree with you, Sean.
And do you think that maybe some of the problems that this film faced was probably because of Ledger's death?
Oh yeah, even Christopher Nolan has said that before.
I think they had a very different plan.
Well, I remember reading the original plan was that it was going to be not about the Joker per se, but he was going to have a bigger part in the movie, and they were going to use Harleen Quinzel in it. They were going to use Arkham Asylum again, but they couldn't really do that. That was the other thing that really pissed me off was when they released Blackgate Prison in the movie. What about Arkham Asylum?
I know, huh? What about the Joker?
Scarecrow.
They must have.
They had to have done something with Arkham Asylum. That's what really bugged me was they made no mention at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the point of not bringing not bringing the Joker into the mix and whatnot because of Heath Ledger's death, and you don't want to. What are you guys doing?
I don't know. It's not me, dude.
That's weird. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's Timothy.
Oh. Fucking blaming us. Dick.
Well, to be fair, who was playing with their gun on the first podcast?
Who gives a shit? You kiss my ass.
If you put a gun in front of Sean or I, we're gonna fucking play with it.
That's true.
That's just the way it is.
That makes us sound way more dangerous than we really are.
No, true.
Plus, it wasn't a gun; it was a fucking starter pistol.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think honestly, the movie wasn't bad by any means. It's obviously
Oh no, I
bad
enjoyed
as, yeah, me too. I mean, parts of the movie had my heart pounding, honestly. But
the
at
last
the
half
end,
hour is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, and Bane's character.
I really liked Bane.
Just-
Like as much as I don't care.
I loved him.
Like,
I loved him. Like
and
he was
like
great.
as much as I didn't expect to like it, he was. I hate to admit this, I think I preferred him to the Joker.
You see, I don't know. I love the Joker so much. I think they're just
Well,
two
like I told you,
different
he's not as interesting as the Joker. The Joker's obviously a very interesting character, especially in The Dark Knight. Blaine to me was scarier because he pulled it off.
Very true. He was a much more realistic.
He felt like something that could probably be done in about that fashion.
Oh yeah.
Now, obviously, he didn't blow up New York. He didn't blow New York. He didn't blow up Gotham. He didn't pull it off per se, but he got a lot further in his plans than the Joker ever could.
Absolutely.
Well, that's in part because he broke the Batman. Oh god, that sequence.
That's what I'm saying. Is that to me he's a scarier villain in the movies, in these movies, anyways.
Well, I mean, I don't have that much problem with the sequence. The fact that Batman just goes in and starts punching him for like
that
5
plan worked
minutes.
out for it.
I know, and he throws one gadget at him. Where are his batarangs? Where are his bombs? Where is like everything else that?
What's with the fucking firecrackers?
I know.
I know.
He threw them, and I went, "What the fuck were those?" Was that a dud?
He's got that like mini MP3, not MP3. God, what am I thinking?
Batman needs a theme song. I'm sorry. You're thinking of the EMP, the little EMP thing he has on his belt. Also, Batman had a yellow belt in this movie. That made me laugh.
A yellow belt? He's had
You know,
that
belt-
golden belt throughout.
It's yellow, dude. His belt was
not
yellow.
It was golden. It was the
What
same
the
as it
fuck?
was in Dark Knight and Batman Begins. What are you talking about?
It was black in those, dude. It wasn't golden.
It was.
It was not black.
Only golden in this one, yeah.
Really? You're gonna argue
Yes.
with the guy that's seen the films like 100 million times? It was
So
golden.
I.
Golden brass color in all of
Only
the films.
one, dude. Fuck it.
Look,
No.
dude, look at the internet. The
I'm
internet
going
is
to.
your friend. Google it.
I will argue with you live on the fucking internet.
All right, do it.
Oh, Lordy.
Why, talk to David for a minute.
Yeah, I honestly, Bane pissed me off quite a bit. Having grown up all series, seeing that we begin an Azrael take over, that's kind of what I was actually looking forward to. Seeing another guy.
You wanted an Asbat frickin'
I
storyline.
did. I
Come
wanted to see a
on.
batshit crazy, just unforgiving Batman.
Whatever, Blaine.
I wanted to see a new Batman who
The
just
thing
didn't
is,
give a
they
shit.
don't have enough of the universe to really make that a reality. They don't have Azrael's training. They don't have a Dick Grayson. They don't have any of those characters, and that's
No, I
another
agree.
problem. It doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like a full universe. It doesn't feel like the full Batman universe. Like,
Mhm.
do you agree?
I agree. It's not the full universe. It's very much an alternate universe.
Well, of course, that's what the films have always been. I mean, and there's always that point that what works in comics doesn't always work in film, but I digress.
Yeah.
there are things that you do and there are things that you don't do. I always felt like, especially after The Dark Knight ended, immediately they were talking about how Scott Snyder wanted to do a version of The Dark Knight Returns. I think that got Nolan's brain going on. That's a good idea, or however he talks.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, it appears you were right about the fucking belt.
You win the belt argument.
Of course I do.
Yeah, there's
Champion.
one right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
I win.
Ah, fuck Nuggets.
Just means you stared at Batman's crotch more than we did.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm turning this argument back into my victory. Fuck, I never... Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. I'll be damned.
Huh, alright.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I think it's not as good as Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, but, it's still a good film.
I think it's better than Batman Begins, because of the three, Batman Begins is my least favorite.
I disagree. Like Batman Begins has a special place in my...
of the three.
No. I mean, of the three, I liked it the most.
I think it's got
I like backstories. I like the histories. I like to see why things are the way they are.
It's the same fact that I don't find Ra's al Ghul an interesting character, so that never did anything for me. In fact, when I saw what the fuck he was, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul is a great character. What are you talking about?
He's a great character.
Have you not watched the animated series?
I don't find him interesting.
I want to see the Ra's al Ghul who is truly immortal.
I don't mind that, but I didn't find him interesting. I love fucking Liam Neeson, but I didn't find him interesting.
That would be a very interesting idea to see how the immortality works on film, the Lazarus pits and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, Jet from Batman on film will argue otherwise.
Was supposed to be like the Lazarus Pit because of the whole rebirth idea. Now, obviously, it's completely different, but I mean, I think that's what they meant with the pit thing.
I suppose, but
I don't think them turning Ra's al Ghul into a simple mercenary.
I don't know. Someone in the theater after we finished watching it, and I turned around to them. I had been talking to these people throughout the entire opening night, and I asked them, "What do you think?"
So you're that asshole in the theater then?
No, between movies because we saw the marathon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then we had technical issues during the last 10 minutes of The Dark Knight. Like they had the radio playing during the last 10 minutes, and it was kind of comical, honestly.
Nice.
But I turned around to this guy and I asked him, "Okay, what do you guys think?" And he looked down at me and he was like, "I think they try to add too much cutesy crap to it."
To The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah. Like with Catwoman's quips.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that I thought was
maybe
cutesy.
the really fucking badly done love story.
Oh yeah.
God knows that didn't work out at all.
Yep.
That's another thing. Marion, what's her name? I can't. Cotillard, I think she was in Obsession.
She played.
Inception.
Yeah, gotcha.
She played Talia.
Yeah.
Or Miranda Tate. Their love story, or whatever you can call that, just was not convincing. It wasn't set up well, and I think this can be attributed to the fact that even Rachel Dawes, that character, was not written that well. I think David Goyer and Jonathan Nolan have a bit of a problem writing female characters and dealing with the whole love element. Everything else is usually fine, but I think the last two films, Rachel Dawes has been the weak point. What do you think?
I don't know. I actually liked her in The Dark Knight.
I'll agree.
I think she was a good character. I was actually kind of sad to see her die because, especially now, it's set up such a shitty Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm really against Batman in Dark Knight Rises. I apologize. I don't care about him. I liked him as Bruce Wayne. Like, the Bruce Wayne character was great.
Oh yeah, he was a very well-rounded character.
But
he wasn't flat by any means.
Goddamn, was Batman boring.
And a lot of people, especially from Modern Myth Media and Batman on Film, will probably disagree with us on that point, but I tend to agree. I think
they're internet fanboys.
when he came back, I wouldn't say they're internet fanboys. They have their
Oh,
opinion.
shit, I've been on those websites.
Well, you might as well say that Jet, when he first started campaigning for a good Batman film, has sort of succeeded in his mission, at least as far as the Batman Begins and Dark Knight have come to pass.
Because, yeah, he's told... All right, moving on. I don't think getting in a fucking argument about those guys.
Really?
I don't, dude. Just moving on.
Okay.
I'm just calling myself out. But, yeah, all right, go.
It's just the whole idea that
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know. I mean, I still to this day, because I haven't seen it again, I don't know what to exactly say, what to put it into context for. I don't know exactly where it falls. I'm looking forward to a more Dark Knight detective take in the future. That's what I can honestly say.
That's why I like Bruce Wayne in the movie, was because he did that. He did the thing with Catwoman in the very beginning about his safe. Mm-hmm. He looked up her records and stuff. But when he was Batman, he just felt, I guess, apathetic. You think?
I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
It's like he was there to show, okay, here's Batman. He's fighting. Isn't this cool?
Yeah.
Look, kids.
It was like it was all that.
Oh, and the one shot.
You know what the bitch is now suddenly I think that works great for the movie.
What?
He didn't want to be Batman. He did it because he thought he had to, but he never really did. That's why he killed himself in the end, or faked his death at the end. He realized he didn't need to. That's why Batman was a shitty character, was because Bruce Wayne didn't want to be Batman, and he felt he was doing it because he had to, not because he wanted to.
Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, come on.
No, actually, that makes a lot more sense.
It does make
really
sense,
does,
actually. I've seen the movie twice, so I have obviously a chance to look at it both times. It does make sense now that I think about it, because that's why Bruce Wayne was such an interesting character, because he was Bruce Wayne. He didn't want to be Batman. He wanted to solve the problems as Bruce Wayne. But he went back to Batman because, just like he said, that he thought Gotham needed Batman.
Well,
that's why
Alfred
was so
Batman. But Gotham needed a Batman that gave a shit.
yeah, that's the problem, obviously. Yeah, but I mean, I think that might explain that character.
That's a problem with the film inherently.
That's shitty storytelling.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of the film was that Batman was supposed to become the symbol that he was meant to be. That he was supposed to become this great hero, this great symbol for people to aspire to.
But he did. He did become that symbol by saving the country.
Yeah, but if Batman
by saving Gotham and proving that he... And plus they found out the truth about Harvey Dent, so they know he didn't kill Harvey Dent. I like how I came here to argue against the movie. Now I'm arguing for it against you. It's weird. Fucking
that is kind of weird.
But they proved he didn't kill Harvey Dent. He saved the city, and he became the hero by fighting off all the villains. While he was a boring character, he did what he said, and that's why they built the statue. But like he said, it doesn't matter who's Batman as long as they protect the city. That's why he left it to Robin. Which, by the way, was stupid as shit.
Yeah.
That was a retarded Easter egg, honestly.
It wasn't even a damn Easter egg. It was just, it was a last minute.
It was.
I even said what?
Look at this. He's Robin.
Robin? What?
He basically was Robin. He fulfilled the role.
But just God
actually,
damn,
I think I'd argue that
I would have followed that better.
There you go.
I'd argue that Catwoman was more like the Robin character than he was.
Oh yeah,
psychically, yeah, a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Which, I was okay with, because that has been done in certain alternate universes of Batman. And it does work, I mean, granted, he's kind of having some kitty on the side,
Funny guy.
But, and I don't know. It's just, it's an okay film. Go see it. It's worth seeing it a couple times, but unless my opinion changes later.
It's worth seeing once.
Yeah. Jinx, buy me a Coke.
I think Nolan was burned out, now that I think about it.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know if he was burnt out per se. I think he just lost his story when Heath Ledger died.
You know, and that's another thing. Even Christian Bale was tearing up during the
I
presentation at
saw
the
that.
MTV Awards. He was
Yeah.
trying to hold it back.
Well,
So,
of course. I mean, the two guys had become real close friends.
Have you seen the
So
picture of Heath Ledger as the Joker skateboarding over Christian Bale dressed like Batman?
epic.
oh god, that's funny.
Absolutely.
Like that proves that those dudes were probably pretty good friends filming that movie.
Oh yeah.
That's such a great fucking picture.
All right.
But yeah, no, and I think that's my big issue is that I think when Heath Ledger died, he was done. Even Nolan was done with Batman, and this is that idea behind that movie is that he's done, and that's why the whole point of the movie is blah, 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 Bruce Wayne being done being Batman. And I think that's why the Batman character is apathetic. He's not. His heart's not in being Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's doing it
honestly,
He's doing it because he needs to, not because he wants to.
Well, because he thinks he needs
Thinks
to.
he needs to. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, what's Robin's the name he went
John
by?
Blake?
John Blake.
Yeah.
John Blake probably could have handled 90% of what was going on
Well, Batman.
between him and.
Batman had the gadgets.
I don't know.
Gadgets.
That. You know what?
It's not about gadgets.
I'm gonna
it's
rant about this. You know, I haven't ranted about this yet. What the hell does John Blake think he's doing by trying to become Batman without any frickin' training? Like, he's a cop. He's not Batman.
He's got cop detective training, and plus,
Detective training, yeah.
I'm
But he doesn't
pretty sure
have the combat
Commissioner
training.
Gordon's going to help him too.
Okay. But
And when
he
Batman
doesn't
decided to
have...
become Batman, he didn't really have any training. Well, he did kind of training. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Fuck League of
Bruce
Shadows.
Wayne
Yeah.
has 7 years of training.
Shut up. I took it back. Cunt.
Shall I
But
play
no,
that?
I don't think it matters. He had the heart for it. He'll push himself to become Batman.
Well, it's
Or
possible.
fucking Night.
Nightwing.
He'll
I
just
don't know.
he'll just change the outfit a bit.
Now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of glad that the series is done. You know, as the film's okay, it's a good sending off point for this universe. Let's move on. Let's make a more, I don't know, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum take.
I want a more comic book approach. I'm not gonna lie. I want the next ones. I want the idea behind the Bruckheimer films, but done well.
There you go.
Like the courts,
You mean
the
the
sort of like
Schumacher films?
not. What did I say? Bruckheimer?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So yeah, the Schumacher films. Yeah, I want that like really grand comic book idea, but I want it done well.
Yep.
I think Tim has a couple things to say, so I'm going to go ahead and add him to our conference call. He's connecting right now. But yeah, I agree. Hey, Tim, you're on with Beer and Cigarettes.
Yo, what's up?
Yo,
Welcome, Tim.
Hey.
Hey, you guys.
Well, he's showing his age again.
Yep, shut up.
Yeah, how old are you again? 12? 12 going
Actually,
on
his
30?
reference was quite old, so I was calling him old actually.
Well,
But I'm sorry, you know jack
I
shit
feel
about pop
stupid
culture.
now. I feel
You should.
Well,
I
apparently
don't
good.
know what that, Oh, wait, that's from Goonies, isn't it?
There you
Ah.
go.
I just woke up, people, on the internet waves. Don't blame me. Blame the beer. All right, Tim, do you have anything to add to the conversation?
I've always wanted to see Killer Croc.
You know, I'll agree.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'm
Why
not gonna
does
lie.
everybody
Do you
want to see
remember-
Killer?
Because
Honestly,
he's
dude.
awesome.
Because he's
He's
huge,
a big, stupid
and he
lizard.
could break
Come
him.
on. No, he
I
can't.
want to see like a Gotham City Siren story put to film.
To reference Hush,
Oh,
Killer
crap,
Croc,
hold on.
to reference Batman Hush, Killer Croc is vulnerable to hypersonics.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Crap. I need to turn that
But
off.
I desperately want to see like Harley, and Poison Ivy team up.
I want
Oh,
to
yeah.
see an
Yeah,
ongoing,
Harley and Poison Ivy, too.
I want to see an ongoing Two-Face arc. I want to see him commit crimes, you know? Not just kill
Yeah,
5
they kind of
cops and-
copped out on Two-Face. Totally copped out, I think.
Well,
on
I mean,
Two-Face.
as far as the Dark Knight goes, that was great for the character. It served the purpose of the story. But, you know, in the next universe, they're going to do something different, so don't kill him off.
Yeah, there's always going to be a remake. They're always going to try and do this over again, just like Superman, just like Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
just like everything else. It's going to happen.
Mentioning Superman. That trailer is not impressive.
Not at all.
I
don't give a shit.
don't have any interest in Superman. He's overpowered in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on
Not
what
believable,
story
not
you're
interesting,
talking
no
about.
conflict. Or
I'm sorry, the only actor worth a shit playing Superman is already dead.
exactly.
So, fuck every other Superman out there. I'm sorry, but
Precisely. Christopher Reeves died and Superman died with him.
I won't say that. I won't say that because
Or his
some people may
yeah.
argue with me, but I think Grant Morrison's take on Superman has been good. And it's different. It's
No.
he's less powered.
no. Just no.
I don't know, man.
No.
No. Yeah. No.
Yeah, David, just shut your fucking face.
I don't know, man. I don't think that Superman
And-
can be done well. I mean, first of all, he doesn't like. I take an MMO standpoint. He takes every single class. Okay, he's like the ultimate min-maxer in the D&D world.
Well,
so
I've been one of the most vocal Superman haters, believe me. But I think any concept, if it's done well, can be done well. So
yeah, but
we
like,
have to see.
among
We'll have
superheroes,
to see.
he is like the most horrific
I agree.
min-maxer on the planet.
I agree. But there are ways that you can minimize that, and you can possibly come up with a good narrative.
Right, if you could restart the series and give it a good lead up and
that's what this movie is
is
supposed to be. It's supposed to be a reboot, quote unquote.
well, that'd be
or
nice.
another
Is
origin
if
story.
they did a reboot well, but they might not, you know.
Well, think about it this way. What Grant Morrison did was he took Superman to a point where he's got a base level of power, say like 30% of what he had before the reset. But the trouble with Superman is that writers don't know how to handle him because he's too powerful, honestly.
Right,
But
they
if
look
you-
at the finished product and not the starting point.
But think about when Superman first debuted in 1930. When Superman debuted, he was he got rid of the oppressors. He threw frickin' wife beaters out windows. You know, broke people's ribs. He leapt over tall buildings. That was all he could do. He was vulnerable.
Yeah.
He had this
He had
great
super
strength,
strength, I think.
but he was still vulnerable. You could still hurt him. And I think
Yeah, but then he slowly grew into being invulnerable, and
A
then he
god.
got like laser vision and ice breath and flying and imperviousness, and then he turned into a red and a blue dude who could both use electricity, and then he got a posse of lookalikes and a bunch of hot bitches that looked just like him. So it
I
was
like how you
like
put
it
that.
was like let's see how far we could make the Superman posse grow, and it was like
it's really
it was
funny.
terrible.
We came on here to discuss The Dark Knight Rises, and we had virtually nothing to say. It's
and
kind
now
of
we
funny.
move on to Man of Steel.
And now we move on. Like I can sympathize with our listeners right now.
Of which I'm betting there's like 2.
ADD. No, actually, I think I hope my friends are listening. I don't know.
I think they are. I think they are.
I shared
I
some.
honestly hope my friends are not.
Yeah, me too, actually.
I'm a
No,
little column B on that one too.
Yeah.
All right,
Wow.
so we bitched about both the main superheroes.
yeah.
All right. So you guys want to get into the Apocalypse Minute?
Well, we're gonna wing that one.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Sure.
Well, we should have planned that out better.
Yeah, we should have. Well, I'm thinking we need a 15-minute restroom break here, so can we cue up some music or something?
No, but if you got to pee, me and David can wing it.
Oh.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got
sure.
plenty to say.
Oh, okay, well-
Blaine's gonna smoke a cigarette. I'll stay here.
Yep.
All right, people. This
And
is
then we'll go into the Apocalypse Minute.
We're doing the Apocalypse Minute for 15 minutes
Oh.
right here, and I'm filling in for Blaine because
Me and Blaine are stepping out to go discuss this Apocalypse Minute thingy. So you two yap about something. We'll be back.
I'm still here.
Also, you need to do beer anyways.
Oh, there you go.
I love how planned this is. When I came on tonight, I had this plan that we were going to do news and stuff for about a half an hour in the beginning, and then we were going to jump into Dark Knight Rises. And that did not work out that way. That's funny. Next time.
Plans change.
Have you heard about the fact that what's his name, the leader of DC, has come back and he has said that Chris Nolan is supposed to be godfathering the DCU, and then Chris Nolan came back and he said, "No, I'm not."
No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. Apparently, this guy came on and he told people at Batman on Film, he told a bunch of different news outlets like Modern Myth Media that Chris Nolan was going to be godfathering pretty much every single film, and Chris Nolan came back and he was like, "Wait a minute, no, that's not right at all."
I hadn't heard that.
I find some of Chris Nolan's statements after The Dark Knight Rises has released kind of funny. Like, he says in one instance that, well, he starts talking about how all the names mean so much to him, but he said, "I'm going to miss Batman, but he's never been a real sentimental type anyway." Like, he's just throwing anecdotal stuff out, and I think, like, honestly,
I think he
doesn't
lost his
care
interest
anymore.
when he lost his main bad guy. I mean, he seemed like he was leading up for this big clash with Batman and
Yeah, I mean, think about
and
it.
Joker, and then it just blew up when Heath Ledger died.
I
Which
can only
is,
imagine how heartbroken he was.
Yeah, it actually leads me to a really weird thought that I had about that, but it's a complete tangent.
We'll get into that later. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thought, but
All right, but yeah, I agree. Because the Joker even said, "I think we're destined to do this forever." Remember?
yeah.
And that
Yeah, exactly.
so much about that film was just dead on. I mean, there were a couple points in the film where Batman's voice really was too far in the growl range.
Yeah, but I think that was only a momentary bleed through of I forget the name of the actor because I really don't like him that much.
Christian Bale.
Guy who plays Christian Bale. I mean, I think the gravelly Batman is way too gravelly. I mean,
Gravely.
excuse me. I still always think of Batman as the as the knight in dented armor.
Honestly, to me,
he's the Dark Knight. He's still noble. He still has his thing. And this guy, he just plays him way too dark.
I listen to a lot of death metal, so the gravelly voice doesn't bother me that much. It's when I can't understand him that it bothers me. But
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was actually the voice was done perfectly in Begins. I feel because it wasn't too much; it was just enough. When he was angry, he did the gravelly thing, and then
that's
when
understandable, too. Excuse me.
are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hiccups.
When at the right points, it was darker. When he was talking lower, you still didn't get the idea that it was Christian Bale's voice. I think he did a fantastic job in Batman Begins, and I think he kind of dropped the ball as you reprised the role.
I think he lost. I think he tried to get it darker and darker as the character "quote unquote" grew, and it didn't really come out well.
As much as people are gonna say Christian Bale's such a terrible person, he's still a really good actor. You can't.
Oh, I'm not
deny
saying
that.
he's terrible. It's just that I didn't like all the aspects of his Batman. There were parts where I was like really into it, and he really was Batman to me. But other times where I'm just like, yeah, you're trying a little too hard, mate.
Trying a little too hard, mate. That's great. But I'll agree with you as far as Batman Begins after Batman Begins, because in certain points it does seem like you wonder why they went down a certain road. And now that it's been a few years since The Dark Knight has been released, we can go back and we can say, well, I would have liked this different or something, as great as the film is.
Right, yeah.
But there wasn't a single point in Batman Begins where I don't feel that he did a great job as either Bruce Wayne
Batman
or
Batman Begins was far better than most of the other ones, in my opinion.
It got so many cues right, especially the one scene that I think is absolutely fucking iconic is the one where he saves Rachel from the goons, remember? And then she throws a taser at him, and he just looks at her like, what?
Yeah,
And
I
pulls
like
the
that.
taser
That
off
was
and starts
funny.
talking. And that voice that he does in that scene is perfect. They should have gone with that from then on. That should have been it.
something you said earlier I agreed with was that they didn't use enough gadgets like in Batman. Like I really wanted to see the bat suit not necessarily evolve the way it did in the other versions of Batman, but still get that technological genius that was in part Bruce Wayne and in part the engineers at Wayne Tech, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And Lucius Fox has been great. It was great to have that character in Batman Begins, but I would have liked to see Bruce Wayne take up some of the slack as far as that goes,
too.
because you don't really see that anymore. You
Yeah,
don't.
he looked like the spoiled billionaire, you know what I mean? Playing a hero.
What do you have for me today, man? You know, I want to try out some new stuff. Go, you know, look for some kicks, test out some of the weaponized hallucinogens.
Right, exactly. Like, it was completely nonchalant and absolutely joking, and
Like, especially
which was the way that they tried to. Which was they always had that sort of interaction with one another. They always joked about what he was going to use it for, and it was under the table for a long time. And I'm not sure if they ever made it official that Lucius Fox worked for Batman specifically.
Oh yeah. In The Dark Knight Rises, they definitely show it off. And
Yeah.
in The Dark Knight, when Lucius unveils his new suit for Batman, you remember that they know, you know, it's obvious,
Yeah.
it's out there, it's there. Lucius
Yeah.
knows. He's not. Think of the line in Batman Begins where he says, "But don't think of me as an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't tell me exactly
like
what you're
Lucius Fox
doing.
a lot.
I won't have to lie." Well, Morgan Freeman, I mean, he's a cool
Yeah,
cat.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah,
And-
yeah.
I was kind of disappointed that they didn't have enough for Lucius Fox to do in The Dark Knight Rises. But
Yeah,
again.
but I don't know. Batman needed to be way more. I don't know. I missed that genius aspect that was kind of prevalent
yeah.
in the old cartoons and some of the old comics. Like
the
he was a
world's greatest
detective.
detective. How do
Yeah,
you miss that
I mean,
point about the character?
Nobody really plays up the detective aspect of it. It's the hokey
It's
gadgets
always
and shit, or
the hokey
or,
gadgets
you know,
and the
hokey
punching
villains,
people.
or just punching the fuck out of people. And
Wh-
that's
which
not
is-
really my
I was gonna bring this
Batman.
up
If I could
earlier.
direct.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, there's a little bit of detective work in both the Dark Knight and Batman Begins, but you have to look really, really closely to see it, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and some of it like that's not really detective work. That thing that he did in the Dark Knight, where he spied on all of that building in Tokyo, or I think it was Tokyo, or
Well,
Hong
I'm
Kong.
talking about where he's doing
Yeah.
looking for fingerprints on a shattered bullet. I think that was meant to be impressive, you know.
That was kind of hilarious. I don't know that is even possible.
All right.
The other one that I thought was funny was the bat sonar thing that he did across the city. You know, the ultimate spying tool, ultimate privacy
that was
destruction.
cool. I won't lie, but
It was
we're gonna
cool, but it
segue
was also like, oh wow, that's like a Deus Ex plot device. You know?
Hey, Tim, we're gonna segue into Sean and Blaine's segment right here.
We're not
Wait.
quite actually. We're gonna start that next week, so we actually have something to not sound like idiots about.
All right, all right.
We're gonna just work on that over the weeks we have for next week. So the Apocalypse Minute will come next week.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah, we never mentioned it again, so I thought you had forgotten about it, and it was kind of a joke. I didn't know we were actually gonna do it. So,
Really, because I was serious.
well, I know that now.
What gave you the idea that it was a joke? I was serious about wanting you guys to have a segment.
It was never brought up again. Usually, you bring shit up every other day when you're serious about this.
Oh. Well, I
So,
was talking
yeah.
to Blaine about it. I figured he'd liaison with you.
I think I heard
What?
about it once, but I
Bit of
don't
a
talk very often.
Hey now, just because I'm lazy.
All right.
Jackass. So yeah, next week we'll do it. That'll be next week.
I think it's kind of telling that we come in here to talk about The Dark Knight Rises and we end up talking about all the other films instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of tells
Well,
you
it's 'cause we
exactly
have to
what
There's
compare it
just
to
not,
something.
not much to say.
No, we pretty much got our stuff out of the way for the Dark Knight Rises like in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Because we all pretty much the same bitches.
Wow. I figured that we'd have more to say, you know. That's kind of crazy. Well, not
Well.
necessarily crazy, but yeah.
Interesting.